Okay, so now we're going to continue with the second part of the video. We're doing ratios. Now that you guys have an understanding of how to write ratios and how to simplify ratios, we're going to focus on real world problems. So we're going to turn this into the real world so we can see how we use ratios in the real world. So this is a table of students being surveyed about what their favorite gum is. So you can see we have the flavors. So the different flavors we have are peppermint, and peppermint has 9 students that chose it. Then we have cinnamon, and cinnamon has 8 students that chose it. Then we have fruit gum, and 3 students chose fruit. And then we have spearmint, and you can see that 1 student chose spearmint. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write the ratio comparing students liking fruit. So that is the important. We're focusing on fruit gum to the total number of students. So first of all, realize that they're asking for something that they didn't ask for before. They don't want to compare a flavored gum to another flavored gum. They want to compare a flavored gum to a total number of students. Total. What does the word total mean that we have to do? Whenever you see the word total, that means that we're going to have to add. So total means that we have to add the number of students. So they want us to add the number of students. So that's the first thing I'm actually going to do. In order to find the total number of students, all you're going to do is add these numbers. So peppermint, 9 students like peppermint. Then we have cinnamon, 8 students liked cinnamon. Then we have fruit, 3 students liked fruit. And then we have spearmint, 1 student liked spearmint. So all we have to do now is add that. So you're going to add 9 plus 8, which is 17. 17 plus 3 gives us 20. And then 20 plus 1 gives you a total of 21. So now that we have done that, we have all the information we need. So go back to the question. They're going to tell you, we want fruit to total. Fruit to total. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at what's the fruit number. The fruit number is 3. So we're going to do 3, 2, because it says 2 right there. Total, and the total is 21. So that is how I got my answer. But now, remember that technically is like a fraction, which means we can simplify. What is the GCF of 3 and 21? What is the greatest common factor that goes into 3 and 21? If you said 3, you're correct. You're going to divide by 3, which gave us 1, 7. So that basically means, in words, remember that the number on top represents the fruit. So that means that for every 7 students, so every time we ask 7 students what their favorite gum is, 1 student said fruit gum is their favorite. So you have to not only be able to do the math, you also have to be able to turn that into a phrase where that makes sense. So 1/7 is the answer, but I want to know what this means in this situation. So that means that every time we ask 7 students in this group, 1 student always said that their favorite gum is fruit. So that's what it means. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. Okay, students were surveyed about their favorite book genre. So let's figure out. 7 chose sports. 9 chose history. 4 chose mystery. And then we have 5 chose fantasy. So we're gonna, those are 7 chose sports, 9 chose history, 4 chose mystery, and 5 chose fantasy. And what I want to know is, what is the ratio of students liking fantasy to the total? Fantasy to the total. So we're gonna focus on fantasy and we're gonna focus on the total. But before we do that, we need to find our total, which means you have to do what? We're gonna have to add to find the total. So we have 7 that chose sports. We had 9 that chose history. We had 4 that chose mystery. And then we had 5 that chose fantasy. So we're gonna add that. 7 plus 9 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 plus 5 gives us 25. So now we have a total number. We have a total of 25 students were surveyed. So now we can answer the question. And the question asks, fantasy to the total. So fantasy was the purple. Fantasy is 5. So we have 5 to our total, and our total is 25. So we have 5 to 25. Since it is a, remember we have to simplify it. So we're gonna think of what is the number that goes into 5 and 25. That's going to be 5. And when you simplify that, you get 1 over 5. So what does that mean in this situation? Remember the first number was 5, and the 5 represented fantasy. So every time we surveyed 5 students, when we surveyed 5 students, that means that 1 liked fantasy. So you could say in different ways. You could technically say 1 student liked fantasy when 5 students were surveyed. So the order doesn't really matter. What matters is that, remember that the bottom was total, so that goes with the total number. And then the 1 went with fantasy. So as long as you have those linked, you're okay. So I'm going to stop the video for now, and then we're going to continue one last video.